All right, everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case over on Rumble, of course. I do see the chat is working, so I've got to pause it. I do have my audio off. Managed to think of that. Got some interesting news to talk about today, actually. But we're also going to do some bants as well, because people seem to like that. You know, just rave and rant and read off a few super chats, and everything's good. We've got some topics here. No tax on tips. Yes, Donald Trump has come out and said that he doesn't believe in taxing tips. Also come out in support of abolishing the income tax. I see this as a good thing. Certainly for myself, this would be good because that means the self-employment penalty goes away. So we'll see what happens with that. So we'll talk about taxation. Putin and the DPRK apparently are drawing closer together. I think this means something further beyond simply like an anti-Western alliance. I think it shows a rebuke of China more than anything else, actually. They've created a defensive pact. I think that could be important. Maybe Kim Jong-un is hedging his bets. Microplastics found in penises for first time, researchers say, raising questions over impact on sexual health. Probably a negative one, although I don't know, maybe it makes your dick as stiff as a Lego, who knows. But nanoparticles of plastic have been found in the pee-pee for the first time. We've got the gay football league. I'm sorry, I can't say this with a straight face. Because I've always referred to American football as being a little bit gay, like, you know, dudes in spandex and all those other jokes. But now the Buffalo Bills, and it would be the Buffalo Bills, by the way, have decided to found the NGFFL, the National Gay Football League. And this is not a parody. This is real, actually. So this is going to be funny. They're even bragging about it. The world's oldest wine has been discovered, and it's cremation wine. So you probably wouldn't want to drink it, although it may be edible still. I mean, if it's alcohol, then it tends not to rot or anything like that. We'll be talking about that. Archaeological news. And then also an Elon Musk hit piece here, which fails to explain why other forms of satellites would not be donating aluminum to the atmosphere and depleting the ozone layer. Yes, they've actually brought back the ozone layer depletion thing to try to fearmonger to people. Let's see. H.P. Lovecraft, Lucifer, whispering silently into your mind. Who walks behind, standing tall, invincible. But do not forget your knives to save your lives, Interesting. I don't know if that's a quote from Lovecraft or if that's something you dreamed up yourself, actually. I'm a fan of Lovecraft, though. The Whisper in the Dark, I believe that's the one that actually takes place mostly in Vermont, over in Brattleboro, at the Mountains of Madness. I know these are the basic bitch entries for H.P. Lovecraft, but I like them anyway. Yeah, we'll be talking about gay football. They'll be playing with balls and scoring and then showering together afterwards. We're going to make all of these jokes and much more. I've been doing that for a number of years, driving sports ball fans insane, and I find that very, very humorous. First off, though, we have to talk about Donald Trump's new proposal, not taxing tips. Right now, if you get a tip, so if you get, like, you're a restaurant server, you're a waiter or waitress, and you get, somebody hands you $10 and says, thanks for the meal, great service. You don't really have, technically speaking, you have to claim it, but there's no real documentation of it, and so you probably don't claim it. And so a waiter or waitress, if they do a good job, they can make a considerable amount of money, actually, on tips. It's just not on paper. This is why waiters and waitresses look very impoverished on paper. And people always talk about that's why we need to eliminate tipping and just go to a flat system so that they can get like a living wage, but they can actually get above a living wage if they're doing a good job. What has been proposed by the liberals is that you tax the tips. And so you raise the minimum wage, they're getting like $15 an hour, but then you tax the tips. They'll actually be making less money overall, especially with Biden inflation. Donald Trump has come out and said, no, that's not the way to go. Fuck that shit. Don't bother taxing the tips. Let them get the tips that they deserve. And I think that's the way forward. It's a very meritocratic system. There will always be that asshole customer that gets really, really good service and leaves like $1 as a tip on a $200 meal. They will always exist. There's no way around it, which is why some restaurants have instituted like a minimum tip or something like that. I don't support that either, by the way. But then there are also people like me, and I will say this. If I get good service in a restaurant, I am a very, very good tipper. And I do this for several reasons. Number one, the person has given you very good service, and I understand they're not getting minimum wage. And number two, I want good service the next time. I want you to remember who I am. I'm the dude who gave you the 30% tip. And so the next time, when I call in a pizza order or something like that, when I call in delivery, you're like, oh shit, that's the dude that gave me 30% last time. Well, I better get it to him really quickly because, I'm going to get, a decent amount of money. And so I tend to be the over tipper as opposed to the under tipper. And I really frown upon people who do they give like the 1% tip or something like that. These people do work hard and they shouldn't be taxed. If I want to give money to a person because they've simply given me a good service and it's really off the hook, they've delivered to me, they've waited my table at a restaurant or something, and I want to give them extra, I don't want to have to give extra to Uncle Sam. I think that anytime we can parse back a tax is good. I think that any time that there is less taxation is a good thing. And so I don't believe in this either. Let's weigh in here. After the hoorays from waiters and other service workers died down, political analysts weighed in. Their conclusion, this is a very smart way to gain an edge in Nevada, where the presidential race is close. Well, Trump is like 5 points ahead. That's not that close. That's certainly true, but Trump's proposal is much smarter and will have a bigger impact, not because of its impact on tips as such, but because of the larger signal it sends. That signal says to lower income workers across the country, I understand your struggles and I'm with you. Well, yeah, Donald Trump increased the wealth of the lower classes. What has Joe Biden done? He's pissed it away entirely, and then some. Trump's proposal says that loud and clear. It is both a blow to the IRS, who fuck the IRS, doesn't like that, and a tangible demonstration of how the former president connects to everyday working people. That's a much broader cohort than the folks who rely on tips. Absolutely. Donald Trump being against taxing tips is a no-brainer anyway. If somebody is going to make sub-minimum wage, and mainly their income comes from, hey, I served you well, give me a cut of whatever the hell you're paying for, you wouldn't want to tax it. It wouldn't make any sense. You're not going to have anyone in the service industry. If you were to tax those tips without raising the minimum wage, who would wait on the rich people? Absolutely no one. Would you want to wait on them? No. Oh, okay. I make $12 an hour and get shit for it, and I get nothing beyond being taxed even more. Yeah, you're going to work 80 hours a week just to make ends meet. Ronald Reagan, who'd been a New Deal Democrat as a young man, mounted a frontal assault against the FDR alliance and launched a long-term shift in the process. Donald Trump has gone further, thank goodness. He has captured that constituency among whites. Yeah, it's only white people, by the way, that support economic progress. Competes for them among Hispanics and is eroding it at least slightly among black men. That shift in all three groups could have a huge impact in the swing states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Nevada, and Arizona. I think, well, at least you left Georgia off of that list. This year's election may well hinge on them, and even slight changes could alter the outcome. That part is fundamentally true, by the way. The fact is that Donald Trump understands business because he's been in business, and probably understands that if you were to tax the tips on people who are serving, delivering, etc., and you didn't have a federal minimum wage boost, a significant one, which would be economically disastrous if you did that, then what you've done is you've impoverished millions of people. You've driven them out of the service industry. They're going to go do something else if they can. And if they can't, they're going to be living like 5 people to a single room apartment. He understands this. He actually understands the basic principles of economics. This is something you don't see from the current administration. So I applaud him on that. I think the fact that Donald Trump has come out and said no taxes on tips is a good idea. I think we should tax as little as possible and tariff as little as possible, by the way. Fuck the government. Just slash and burn half of it. And fuck the tariffs. Get rid of the income tax, more or less. Don't tax tips. Don't tax guns. Don't tax gun accessories. Don't have a sales tax. Fuck these things. The government doesn't need so much of your money. Believe it or not, it's possible for them to make do with far less. Overall, the average person in the United States, when you look at the income tax, sales taxes, property taxes, every other tax and burden that they have to pay, they're paying out about half of what they make. These are people in the middle class. If you're in the upper middle class, it's more than that. Why don't we reduce that by half and just call it a day? People would be much better off. Astronauts. Under Trump, she'll get the whole tip. Wink, wink. Yeah, the mushroom tip, supposedly, according to Stormy Daniels. Ray Atkinson on tips. When I delivered pizza, made $20, $30 an hour. One person would pay more than the bill because before he had money, he delivered pizza. Zowie Fenderblast. Hi, Sticks. Soup is good food. Yeah, tonight I think we're having omelets, actually. Asian omelets. I might be making my scrambly hash style potatoes, actually, too. Doc Holiday. Here's a tip. At least Rumble doesn't tax you on it as much as ScrewTube. That is true. If you tip me on Rumble, I do get more of that money. What do fuck? First time. Yesterday, I wrote Trump 2024. No taxes on tips on my credit card receipt. I gave 20% my norm. Yeah, I tend to tip very well. Like, God, you should have seen the look on the face of the one pizza delivery man that one time when I was in Texas. I just got a couple of basic pizzas. I think I tipped 50% because I was just too lazy. I'm like, just fucking keep the change. I was too busy doing other things, if you know what I mean. And the next pizza that was delivered, it came awfully quickly. Spider Eternal, I hear you on tips, but I'm tired of playing hiring manager. How about the employer pays their workers properly? If an employer is okay with their employees getting screwed, it's time for a new job. I don't have a problem with the tipping process. I don't see it as bad or antiquated. I see it as a good thing. It's a full meritocracy. If you are really good at it, yeah, you're going to get the occasional asshole that only tips you 5% on a $200 order. You're also going to get people who are like, wow, this person was really, really fast in packing it up. It came hot and fresh. Everything's fine. Okay, I'll give you 40% or something like that. I tend to be on the latter end, by the way. I don't want spit in my food. Apache, did you see the articles predicting a red mirage and blue shift again? Seems like they don't care about making it look real and just plan on stealing it. They will try. That's definite. Absolutely. Yeah, if I'm ever in your restaurant, don't worry about me skeeving on the tip. Unless your service is absolutely abysmal, you're getting a significant amount. Just out of principle. You know, that sort of work can suck. Sometimes you have to serve food to people that are retarded. Well, most of the time, but Putin says Russia and North. By the way, if I'm a little bit hoarse, I did have like some sort of cold in the last few days, and it went straight to my throat. And it didn't really make me feel sick because my immune system is tiger blood mode. But my throat was a little bit swollen, and I am still a little bit congested. So I know this morning I sounded a little bit congested. I was looking back in my videos. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you know, you need some albuterol or something like that. So my apologies for that. Putin says Russia and North Korea vow to aid each other if attacked in a new deal. This particular deal is kind of sort of unofficial, but it's still meaningful. I'll tell you why. It's not meaningful in the sense that if Russia gets into it with, let's say, a NATO country, North Korea immediately comes to their aid. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. North Korea is a small country with a handful of older school atomic weapons and a very large, effectively militia system. Very formidable on land borders, would not translate well to an international battle. Other than they've got a lot of subs. They're older school, but they do work, generally speaking. We're not so sure about their Air Force. That being said, I think that the importance here is more that North Korea is cozying up to Russia, and it's sort of an abandonment of China. Russia and China, for decades and decades, actually had a squabble over puristic communism. And so they variously backed other proxy states in Southeast Asia and in the Middle East against one another, fighting over ideological communism. So Stalin versus Mao, Khrushchev versus whatever the fuck it was in the 80s. I can't remember exactly what the name of it was. They had numerous battles and wars over this conflict between puristic communist systems. And basically, it was just a microcosm of who is going to be the big dog in the Eastern Bloc. The fact that North Korea appears to be swinging more towards neutrality, as opposed to what it has been doing for decades, which is mainly being China's ally, and Russia is tolerated. And now it looks more like they're going to be more Russia's friend and China is tolerated, is actually a sea change within East Asian politics. And people are totally overlooking it. They're overthinking it, number one, and saying, oh my God, like the North Koreans are supplying Russia with weapons and, they're going to get involved. There's going to be North Korean soldiers in Kiev or something like that. No, there's not. But this is a huge diplomatic shift. North Korea had been only specifically friendly towards China for a very long time and had tolerated the Russians. That is, there was some shipping, there was some travel, there were diplomatic talks, of course, but it was nothing high level. This was a high level talk. And I see a sea change in the diplomacy of Asia as a result of this. Russia appears to be asserting hegemony over the Chinese at the moment. I have a sneaking suspicion that Xi Jinping is not particularly happy about this particular visit. Just saying, I have a feeling that he's not particularly happy about that because they had been at odds, actually, kind of sort of allied in some ways, but largely at geopolitical odds throughout the Cold War, generally speaking. It's only in the last 20 years that there's been rapprochement between China and Russia. I think that pretty much anything could break it down. BRICS could collapse at any moment. India is buying U.S. military goods. They're at odds with Pakistan, for example. South Africa is an afterthought. Brazil is in political flux. China and Russia now appear to be, in a gridlock with one another. This does not surprise me at all. I warn people who are betting on the Eastern Bloc and the displacement of Western hegemony. The Western Bloc is far larger, far more technologically sophisticated, far more logistically advanced. And ultimately, the Russians and Chinese don't even like each other. For the most part, these governments are effectively hostile towards one another and came together as a coalescence against an increasing Western presence more than anything else. But the Eastern Blockers didn't want to believe it. Seoul, South Korea, Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un signed a partnership that included a vow of mutual aid if either country is attacked during a Pyongyang summit on Wednesday that came as both face escalating standoffs with the West. Putin's first visit to North Korea in 24 years comes amid growing concerns over an arms arrangement. Yes, that's the real concern, in which the country provides Moscow with badly needed munitions for its war in Ukraine in exchange for economic assistance and technology transfers that can enhance the threat posed by Kim's nuclear weapons and missile program. Well, they're atomic weapons, first and foremost. I don't feel threatened by the North Koreans. That being said, really, it's a diplomatic move more than anything else. And it's interesting how people aren't really getting that. For North Korea, again, first time in 24 years. For the North Korean leadership, first time with Kim Jong-un by far, to meet with Vladimir Putin and receive him with a king's welcome in Pyongyang is diplomatically important. It's not strategically important. They're already giving him the weapons, and Russia's already giving them the aid, so nothing has changed on that front. What does it really symbolize? Hey, China, haha, I made a new friend. And that's basically what it is. This is a threat to China, much more than it is to the West. God, I'm just so hoarse. Let's see. Money drip, I would prefer just a consumption tax. That would cripple the economy, unfortunately. Alan Tenaz, good morning, Sticks. I tried doing 100 sit-ups just now, but I couldn't handle the ab use. Deus Flex, anyone in doubt about the China DPRK rift, remember, one of the first things Kim Jong-un did after assuming power was Minecraft members of his father's inner circle who were caught passing intel to China. Exactly. People are not understanding what the fuck is going on here. This is a rebuke of China and an embracing of a closer ally, which also shares a very small land border and is perceived of as stronger. That's basically the long and short of it. Sounder Siren. Thoughts on Biden illegals getting voter registration in 49 states when they sign up for their benefits? What the fuck? And fuck Joe Biden. Only for local elections and not in 49 states, but it's still a concern. Absolutely. DVS Lord. Saw your post on X or Twitter about the Acolyte. Would you give a shout out to Darth Melvin and Knight of Melvin? Been calling Disney out for 4 years. Yes, of course. So Darth Melvin and Knight of Melvin. Desiccated Corpse. Thoughts on Just Stop Oil defacing Stonehenge. White people don't season de megaliths. Yeah, I'll be talking about that, I believe. I'll be talking about that tomorrow, I think. I think I've got a one-off for that one. Or maybe I bounced it. I had an overload of news articles. There was so much good shit. Again, I'm a little bit hoarse today. My throat was sore the other day. That's pretty much gone away. I mean, I'm not sick or anything like that. It's just had some sort of infection or some shit like that. I blame air travel and the stress involved with that. Oh, yeah. I told you about my stressful attempted air trip. That was an interesting day. Oh, boy, here we go. Microplastics found in penises for first time. Haha, researchers say. Lego phalluses, raising questions over impact on sexual health. I can tell you what the impact is. Having nanoplastics in your pee-pee tissue is probably not good for your pee-pee health. Probably bad for the vascularity and everything else. Effectively, the penis is just a chunk of flesh that has high vascularity. And in order to get erect, that vascularity has to work properly. If anything affects your vascularity, it can affect your potence, effectively. It can make you impotent. So some people, like myself, can go for hours, and other people, they can't get it up at all. They literally cannot get an erection, and it's a big problem. That's why they have Viagra and similar drugs. I would assume that nanoplastics in the vascular tissue of the penis would, of necessity, reduce sensation, number one, and reduce the likelihood of an erection, number two. It's pretty much a no-brainer. I mean, you don't really need to study further. It's bad for you. Microplastics have been found in neural tissue. They've been found in the neurons. They've been found in vascular tissue. They've been found pretty much everywhere you can. The problem is, one of the big things is like microplastics. I would think it would clog up your nephrons in your kidneys. Like we might be giving a bunch of people kidney failure by using too much plastic or something like that. I support the rise of bioplastics where plastics are needed at all, because those ones, they're biodegradable. And replacing plastic as often as possible. For instance, you can use that glass bottle 1,000,000 times as long as you don't break it. There's no reason that you can't use that to carry your bottled water around. Does it weigh a little bit more? Yeah. Did you only pay for it once and now you never need to pay for it again? You just get a fucking Brita filter or something? Yeah, of course. Okay, well, you've cut out that plastic bottle. It's not in a landfill. I think that's a good idea. Plastic should be, as often as possible, in my opinion, displaced within the ecological food chain. It's clearly a menace. It's clearly a problem. If anything, when it's used, it shouldn't go in a landfill to be degraded into the background. It should be incinerated more than anything else. But incineration is conceived of as being a pollutant in and of itself. Oddly enough, less than the microplastics. I think that the recycle crowd, the NIMBYists of the 2000s and 2010s, are going to be proven disastrously wrong in the coming decade. Suck Duck, please shout out Plainly Difficult. Love his videos. Plainly Difficult. There's a shout out for you. Will Scott, Sticks, follower since 2016. I always sound like I know what I'm talking about to friends because of your analysis. Then I put them onto your content. Keep fighting the good fight. Well, I thank you very much for that, and I'm very glad to help you in those conversations. Fire down below. Sorry to come off black pillish. They will honk Arizona. Agreed. Governor Pennsylvania Josh Shapiro will not let Trump win Pennsylvania. Therefore, honk. Also no win in Michigan and Wisconsin. I disagree with you, but I do agree about Arizona. I think Arizona is like as not to go to Joe Biden. I know that Trump's 5 points ahead, but Maricopa County exists, and so it's a big problem. By the way, again, as before, if I sound a little bit hoarse, I cannot help it at the moment. I don't know, I have bronchitis or some shit from the other day, and I'm getting over it now, and got a good night's sleep, so I feel better on that end. And tonight, I'm going to sleep like a fucking baby. I'm going to be getting some blue cheese later, Dana Blue specifically, some crackers and stuff. I'm going to sack out and watch Townsend's for several hours because that channel is great. By the way, shout out to Townsend's, and Tasting History by Max Miller, two of the greatest cooking channels on YouTube. If you've never checked them out, if you want historical cooking, make some Parthian chicken and use some more mace and nutmeg in your food. Anyways, let's get to our sponsors / merch partners here before we continue. We've got pumpkinfirecrafts.us, who is in chat over on Rumble, by the way, where you can get keychains, belt chains, bookmarks, engraved spoons, amulets, and much, much more. Pumpkinfirecrafts.us. Use code STICKS if you are buying from them. They've also got non-sticks material available as well. BillTongUSA.com. or AntonsUSA.com. The land of tasty meat. Yeah, suck down that meat, boy. You've got elk, you got kangaroo coming soon. I can't wait to try that one. Carbonasi, that's a pork and beef mix, and many others, as well as Sticks, X, and Hammer mugs, tumblers, and shirts. Again, use code STICKS for free shipping there. Wicked Needle Embroidery.bigcartel.com, the land of Sticks, Hex, and Hammer hats that were so in demand the second that I wore one on a video. And half the comments on the video were, where can I get one of those? You can have the offset Ouroboros logo or the centered one with Sticks, X, and Hammer 666, written, of course, below. Variety of colors, by the way. HeritageHeirloomSeedCompany.com, the land of the seed survival bucket. If you want good cucumber seeds, by the way, definitely highly recommended. Their germination rate was near 100%. It was actually difficult because, you put multiple seeds in each pot, and sometimes you have to snip a couple of them out in order to make sure the other ones actually can grow. Also, the land of the Sticks, X, and Hammer soapbox with cedar, clove, and blueberry scent. Should definitely pick one out. I've got one of those bars upstairs right now. I'm going to have to shower later, probably because, as you can tell, I need a little bit of a shave. I forgot the other day. It slipped my mind. Websterswares.com /sticks-wares. Yes, you can get Sticks, X, and Hammer merch there. We've got jackets. We got daggers. We've various kinds. Those knives are pretty cool. Metal straws to save the turtles. They've also got non-sticks merchandise, too, like Trump paraphernalia, flags, and things of that nature. I've got one in the office in Jasana, and that's always fun. Jamminbean.com. That is JAMNbean.com. The land of Sticks, Hex, and Hammer endorsed coffee and tea. I like herbal tea. I like coffee. They're delicious. The best one is still going to be the Costa Rica blend. I tried several of their coffees. That one was the one that stuck out to me the most. Really smooth, perfect medium roast, great taste. I mean, you don't need to add anything to it. And you can brew it powerful. You know, normally if you put coffee in and you brew it too powerfully, it's kind of sour and gets kind of rot gut. Not with the Costa Rica blend. No, you can take that as black and swarthy as a pirate's beard, and there's no problem. MTPew.com. That is MTPEW.com. The land of Stick, Sex, and Hammer endorsed ammunition, both range brass and newly manufactured. Various calibers, both pistol and rifle, are available. 9mm, 40 Smith & Wesson, etc., 5.56. All the common rounds, for the most part, are there. And finally, brickmuseum.com, Blair, Ohio. You should go to their page and you can see pictures of their Lego museum. They've got all sorts of cool shit. They've got actual Lego sets, Lego accessories. It's a big place, it looks like, and basically like a miniaturized Lego land. Sounds pretty cool. I'm probably going to have to visit them at some time. So yeah, those are our sponsors and merch partners. Christian Workman, think about it. There might be a time when American diplomats sign over Ukrainian territory to Lavrov. That's hilarious. Alan Smithy, I keep hearing about the land of Biltong, but I've never seen their nation's flag before. What's the deal with that? Imagine a chunk of meat on a piece of canvas. That's basically Anton's little nation there. Pocus Slasher, hey Sticks, you should get a suppressor for your AR. The wait times are way down now. Arrow Precision makes a good, affordable one. And that sounds good. Yeah, I'd rather not go deaf at some point. It's probably a good idea. So yeah, there are microplastics in your penis. How does that make you feel? By the way, there are also microplastics in your vagina, if you happen to be female. It's rather sad. You know, so when you're eating that out, you know, there's a little something extra. You're eating Lego bricks, basically. Somebody needs to make like a YouTube short about that. It's terrible. Now, we should eliminate as much plastic as possible. You don't really need a plastic bag. Use a fucking paper bag or one of those reusable canvas bags. I've got a couple of those. Dagnabbit32, Sticks, when do you think housing prices will begin to fall? I have absolutely no clue, unfortunately. If I did have a clue, I would make investment decisions and become a multimillionaire. On that one, I cannot help you. Yes, the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills have just announced they're helping to launch the National Gay Football League. Yes, this is real. I thought it was a freaking parody too. I do not have a problem with this. Number one, because I don't give a fucking shit about sports. The only time that I watch football is to watch the Super Bowl and maybe like the last stage of the playoffs, and then only so I can troll people. I don't give a fuck about a bunch of dudes throwing their hand egg around. Any more than I give a shit about any other sport. Closest thing to giving a shit would be like, you know, Tyson versus Jake Paul. Maybe I'll watch that one because it'll be intriguing. If people are pounding each other and there's blood everywhere, all right, yeah, that's a real sport. I don't really care about the spandex wearers. In soccer, football, technically football here in Europe, and then there's American football. Nobody cares. Hockey is like kind of up there. Basketball could be entertaining. I remember there was an NBA like 95 game for the Super Nintendo system back in the day. And it was really, really fun because you could adjust pretty much everything in the game, right? You know, terrible graphics and everything, but it was funny. And so you could make like all of your players like 6'10", and all the opponent's players would be like midgets. And then you could turn off the penalties entirely. So you could just shove them around and steal the ball and see how far you could run up the score. And like God mode was to see like how far that score could go up without the enemy ever really being able to score. The opponent's team wouldn't stand a chance. And so you could get like multiple people would play it in a row, and you see just how much you could game the game. So you're like, can I get 1,000 points in this game? Maybe so. And it was actually possible to do stuff like that. I can't remember my own record on that. It was just fun. Usually played as the San Antonio Spurs. I don't know. I just like their uniforms or something. I can't remember. But here's the thing as far as a gay football league. American football is about watching sweaty dudes in spandex pat each other's asses when they do a good job, play with their balls, and then go shower together. Therefore, I don't care if there's a gay football league. I couldn't give less of a shit. Nobody's going to watch it, number one. And number two, it sort of fits in with the premise of the game to begin with. It's a little bit different from passing the puck in hockey or something like that. Yeah, he's passing the ball. He just scored. They're getting off to the showers. Yeah, this boy's really got it. Yeah, boy. I mean, come on, dude. Pokeslasher, there are microplastics in my penis. Suck them out. No, thank you. I'm super straight. I'm sure you can find somebody to do that, though. The Grizzly, can Trump win with Michigan mail-ins going brrrt? He will probably not win Michigan. He will probably win Pennsylvania. I believe that's very much in play. They've got partial defortification, you got to remember. By the way, best energy drink made right here in the Netherlands, 9. It's got a, I don't know, a picture of a pilot or a rabbit with eyeglasses on. I'm not exactly sure on the bottom. It's like a sugar-free Red Bull, but much smoother. I don't know how the fuck they make it, but. So yeah, gay football. I mean, so in other words, football. They haven't changed anything. Trip Boom. They ruined all sports with their stupid rules and making it more corporatized. All they care about is the money. Yes, true. King of Biltong. Good morning from Anton's Meat Neat. 10% off with code STIX10 for your Biltong on BiltongUSA.com and AntonsUSA.com for purchases that qualify for free shipping. Otherwise, use code STIX for free shipping. Excellent. So you can get your kangaroo biltong. You might be the only person that's making it, though, dude. It'd be interesting. You know, one of our sponsors on this channel is an entrepreneur, Anton. It'd be interesting if he literally invented the idea of kangaroo biltong. By the way, there were kangaroos at the Kinderborderei earlier. Now, went out with my wife and daughter to the it's basically a petting zoo, although it's a petting zoo on steroids. And they've got kangaroos there. One of them was out hopping about and drinking from its water bowl. Let's see, just oh, okay, never mind. Thought there was a glitch there for a second. Oldest ever liquid wine discovered with gruesome surprise inside. Yeah, haha, excellent. Researchers have identified a mysterious 2,000-year-old liquid as the oldest wine ever discovered, according to a study. The reddish liquid was found in an unlooted Roman mausoleum in Carmona, southern Spain, in 2019, contained within a glass funerary urn. The authors of the study, published in the Journal of Archaeological Science reports, said this was a rather exceptional and unexpected discovery. Well, yes, indeed. Subsequent analysis, detailed in the study, this is the morbid part, has now revealed that the material in the urn represents the oldest wine conserved in liquid state. It appears the liquid was used in a Roman burial ritual during which cremated human remains were immersed in the wine. Yeah, apparently they decided that the person was a drunk, I guess. And they said, well, you know, I want to go to the afterlife and be sauced. Well, burn up my body and fucking put it in the urn with some of this wine. It's probably still edible, by the way. Why it might turn to vinegar over time, but it's probably still usable. Imagine making a red wine vinaigrette with this one. How much of a punch that would pack. Previously, researchers have detected the residues of ancient wines on the surfaces of container vessels, with the oldest remains stretching back as far as roughly 8,000 years ago. But finding ancient wine in liquid state is extremely rare. In fact, prior to the latest study, no analysis of ancient wines in their liquid states have ever been reported in scientific literature. Until now, the presumed oldest wine preserved in liquid state was the so-called Speyer wine bottle, which is thought to be around 1,700 years old. This sealed bottle was found in a tomb in the city of Speyer in Germany in 1867. The liquid inside is suspected to be wine from the 4th century, but the bottle has never been opened. As a result, the identity of the liquid has yet to be confirmed by chemical analysis. Imagine it's something highly poisonous. I mean, technically speaking, if it remains sealed against oxidation, it would still be drinkable. They found wine from hundreds of years ago, like pirate wine and shit like that, and people can still drink it. It's exceptionally expensive. It's exceedingly rare, but there are people who have actually had it. And I would imagine it would taste more like vinegar than anything else. And after that much time, if you open it, my understanding is that it very quickly turns into vinegar. So the older it is, the more quickly it's going to sour effectively. Not that there's anything wrong with a red wine vinaigrette or anything like that. It's still tasty. You can put it on your salad. Imagine, I'll get a bottle of pirate wine, let it turn into vinegar, and then I'll have a salad party or something. And so, yeah, they determined that the liquid actually was the oldest wine in the world. They opened it up. Hopefully someone took a sip. Like someone take a dropper and like, yeah, what does it taste like? Oh shit, no, it's not wine. It's actually bile or something like that. Stranger things have happened. The unintended. A mother kangaroo said to her friend, I hope it doesn't rain today. I hate when the kids play inside. Oh, God. That's a dad joke. I respect you. Fire down below. Any state that is still counting after Election Day, I will automatically assume is going for Biden. Yeah, that's probably a good assumption. Kaya McGrath, you should check out bricklink.com and brickvault.toys. Yeah, I like Legos. Used to have a huge collection. I still have an enormous collection of Playmobiles, by the way. That one is still intact. I've got 2 of the Siege Towers. That was the best set, by the way, ever. The Siege Towers for Playmobiles. That was a great one. I don't know how many of the little people I have. Probably like 300 or something, I think I counted. And then the final news story, and then I'll go offline. I'll go offline a little bit early today because I still got to go out to the store. I've got to get blue cheese and shit like that. Elon Musk's Starlink satellites could deplete Earth's ozone layer, warns study. Yes, Elon Musk doing Starlink is going to cause the ozone layer to be depleted yet again, just like styrofoam and stuff did before. And then we're all going to die. Every Australian will get skin cancer because, you know, if you go out in the sun, you get cancer, right? Getting sun is bad for you. They told us that during lockdownerism. Only there's a problem here. This is about satellite reentry in general. It's not just about Starlink, but they buried it down in the article. The AstroTurfed article that you're seeing like on RCP and other aggregators is that Starlink satellites are going to destroy the ozone layer. The real story is that satellites eventually re-enter. They don't last forever. They're not meant to last forever. And that the aluminum oxide that burns up can cause ozone depletion. Now, I'm skeptical as to whether that's actually happening, at least on a scale that would matter. Again, my apologies for my hoarseness. Playing hurt today. But Starlink is indeed not the only company that's putting satellites up. I mean, there's a lot of them because Elon Musk does a good job, but it's not the only company doing so. Nearly 18.7 tons of aluminum oxide nanoparticles in 2022 alone were released into the atmosphere through satellite burnup. How many of those were Starlink? The article never says. With plans to launch thousands more satellites annually, this number could skyrocket to 397 tons per year, posing a serious risk of significant ozone depletion. Where do you even get these numbers from, is my question. There's literally there's no link to the actual articles in the study. It's just a claim. And this is supposedly like a scientific page or something like that. So more Elon Musk derangement syndrome. He can do no right. He's doing something that everyone else is doing too, which is putting up communication satellites. Only his, though, are going to destroy the ozone layer, you know, because they supply better internet to people in rural areas who might have differences of opinion with the urban orthodoxy. By the way, please send no more super chats again. I should probably let my voice rest a little bit this afternoon. I am still a little bit hoarse, and you know, I've got to do food stuff. F. Winters loading. Trump said Byron Donalds is high on VP list. He could be the best pick. Certainly the most entertaining and has most energy. Jim Crow thing will not matter, unlike Kristi Noem, given how ridiculous. I think it does matter. It gives an arrow into the quiver of your opponent, number one. And number two, there are other people that are more eminently qualified, namely Tulsi Gabbard. Fuse 32. Are you a pony? No, I'm just a little horse. Il Sarto. My friends and I ordered and drank 60-year glass bottles of Pepsi from eBay. Tasted fine. Didn't get sick. Still wouldn't recommend. Sounds disgusting. Yeah, sugar and vinegary acidic things tend to preserve against rot. And so the tendency is if they're perfectly sealed, they tend to be safe. They found all sorts of crazy shit that's still edible. And like there's cheese at, I think, the North Pole that's 100 years old, and they tried some of that. Still edible. Not a banned account. Can we arrest MAGA before they arrest Democrats? Good point. Anyways, I'm going to go offline here. I thank you to the nearly 4,000 people who tuned in live. I would go longer, but I've got some food stuff to do, and my voice really does need to rest right now. Otherwise, maybe tomorrow I won't be able to do anything, and I'd rather do things tomorrow. So I should probably rest my voice. Shout outs to everyone. I thank you all for coming. I'll be back tomorrow with more live news analysis and probably some science and shit like that. That's about all. Peace out.